The gruesome murder that won't be forgotten. The siren screamed through the cold night as red and blue lights flashed against the tall pine trees. Snowflakes drifted down like quiet ashes. Officers shouted orders. Radios crackled, and neighbors peeked through curtains, too afraid to come outside. In the middle of all that chaos stood the broken, empty shell of a small cabin. And inside that cabin, right there on the old wooden floor, lay the body everyone in Mountain Pine Valley would talk about for years. It was a gruesome murder that no one would ever forget. A murder so strange, so terrifying, and so confusing that even the bravest officers did not want to step inside alone. Someone had left a message on the wall, a message written in long, shaky strokes, a message no one could explain. Detective Aaron Blake stared at it, frozen. His breath shook in the cold air. His voice was barely a whisper as he spoke the words out loud. But before he could finish reading the last line, a loud crash echoed from the back of the cabin. The officers spun, guns raised. Something, or someone, was still inside. And that's where everything changed. Forever. Because when they pushed open that back door, the truth waiting on the other side was nothing any of them were ready for. Earlier that same morning, the town felt like any other peaceful winter day. Mountain Pine Valley was a small, calm place tucked between mountains, the kind of place where people greeted strangers and held open doors at a grocery store. Kids built snowmen, parents walked their dogs, and nobody expected anything bad to ever happen there. Most people believed the valley was too quiet for real danger. Most people, except Emma Carter. Emma was a 15-year-old girl with messy brown hair, bright hazel eyes, and a heart so soft she cried at animal rescue videos. She believed in kindness, even when people didn't always deserve it. She believed in helping others, even if it meant going out of her way. And she believed, deep down, that everyone had a good side, even if it was hidden. But lately, she felt something was wrong in the valley. She didn't know what it was or why she felt it. It was like a strange heaviness in her chest, a quiet whisper telling her that something bad was coming. She tried ignoring it, but the feeling only grew stronger every day. That morning, she walked to school with her best friend, Tyler Brooks. Tyler was funny, loud, and always humming some song he never remembered the lyrics to. "You're extra quiet today," Tyler said, nudging her shoulder as they crossed the icy sidewalk. "What's going on in that extremely complicated brain of yours?" Miss Emma deep thoughts. Emma forced a small smile. "Nothing," she lied. "I just didn't sleep well." "Nightmares again?" he asked gently. She nodded. She didn't want to talk about them. The dark shadows, the cabin, the cold feeling crawling up her spine. But the images kept flashing in her mind anyway. "Hey," Tyler said softly. "We're okay. Nothing bad ever happens here. This place is basically the safest town in America." Emma didn't argue, but the feeling didn't go away. When they reached school, students hurried inside to escape the freezing air. Emma put her books in her locker, trying to shake off the strange heaviness. She wanted to think about normal things, homework, lunch, her upcoming English project about kindness, but the feeling wouldn't leave. During first period, her teacher, Mrs. Thompson, spoke about empathy and understanding others. "Remember," she said with a warm smile, "small act of kindness can change someone's entire day, even their entire life." Emma loved lessons like this. They made the world feel brighter, safer, less scary. But just as she started feeling calm, the school's intercom buzzed loudly. "Students and staff," the principal said, sounding worried, "please remain in your classroom for a moment." Everyone stopped moving. Even Tyler, who usually joked about everything, looked nervous. Emma's heart thumped. Her hands grew cold. She didn't know why, but she felt like this moment was connected to her nightmare. After a long pause, the intercom clicked again. "Classes will continue as normal," the principal said. His voice shook slightly. "Thank you." The class whispered and murmured, curious and confused. But Emma knew something was wrong. She couldn't explain it. She just felt it. At lunch, she sat with Tyler at their usual table. He tried cheering her up with jokes, but her mind kept drifting away. Finally, he sighed. "Okay, seriously, tell me what's bothering you. No jokes. No pretending." Emma stared at the snowy mountain peaks outside the window. "Do you ever feel like something terrible is about to happen?" she whispered, "and you can't stop it." Tyler looked at her for a long moment. He didn't laugh. He didn't tease. Instead, he nodded slowly. "Sometimes," he admitted. "But that's why we stick together, right? Whatever happens, we face it. Together." His words warmed her chest a little. She smiled. Maybe she was just overthinking. After school, Emma walked home alone because Tyler had basketball practice. The sky was turning gray, and the wind carried a strange, lonely sound. She pulled her coat tighter and quickened her pace. She passed Mrs. Henderson's porch, where the elderly woman waved from behind her knitting needles. "Good afternoon, dear," Mrs. Henderson called. Emma waved back. The familiar kindness soothed her nerves. Mountain Pine Valley wasn't bad. It wasn't dangerous. It wasn't. A scream cut through the air. Emma froze. The scream came from the forest at the edge of the road. A man's scream. Sharp. Terrified. Her heart raced. She looked around, but no one else was nearby. The houses were too far back, and the trees were too thick to see through. She took one small step toward the woods. Then another. "Hello," she called, her voice shaking. "Is someone hurt?" No answer. She swallowed hard. The smart thing to do would be to run home and call the police. But what if someone needed help? What if someone was hurt and alone? Emma took a deep breath and stepped into the forest. The trees blocked out the light, and the snow here was untouched. The air felt heavier, colder. The woods were silent, too silent. She walked farther in, her footsteps crunching softly. Goosebumps crawled up her arms. Then she heard it, a soft thud, followed by a faint groan. Her breath caught. She wasn't imagining it. Someone was here. "Hello," she whispered again. "I can help you. Please say something." Another weak groan. Emma hurried toward the sound, pushing branches aside. Her heart pounded so loudly she could barely hear the forest. She stepped into a small clearing and stopped dead in her tracks. There, on the snowy ground, lay a man she didn't recognize. His clothes were torn, his face pale, and his eyes filled with fear. He looked like he had been running from something terrible. Emma gasped. "Oh my gosh, sir, are you okay? What happened?" He tried to speak. His lips trembled. His voice came out broken, like he was forcing a word through pain. They're coming," he whispered. Don't let them find me." Emma's pulse thundered in her ears. Who's coming?" But before he could answer, something cracked behind her. A branch. A heavy footstep. Emma spun around. But the trees were empty. She turned back to the injured man, only to find his eyes wide with terror, staring past his shoulder. "They found us," he whispered. Suddenly, a figure stepped out from behind the trees. Tall, still, watching. Emma froze, unable to breathe. The figure took one slow step forward. Another. The injured man tried to crawl away, his voice shaking in panic. Emma backed up, her heart clawing at her ribs. She didn't know who the figure was or what they wanted, but every part of her body screamed run. Before she could move, the figure reached into their coat. Emma's breath caught. And then, everything happened at once. The forest exploded with motion, with noise, with fear, and the night of the gruesome murder that would never be forgotten truly began. And that is when Emma realized her nightmare wasn't just a dream. It was a warning. And suddenly, another scream ripped through the forest, louder and closer this time. It was not the injured man. It was not Emma. It came from behind them, and it was filled with pure terror. When Emma turned toward the sound, she saw something she could never unsee, something that would change everything. The scream echoed through the trees like a knife cutting through cold air. Emma froze, her breath turning to fog in front of her face. Tyler's voice used to echo through the school hallways with laughter, but this scream, this one was nothing like that. This scream was raw fear. The injured man on the ground tried to push himself up, his arm trembling as he pointed shakily toward the dark woods behind Emma. "Run," he whispered. "You need to run. Now." The tall figure who'd stepped from the trees took another slow step closer. Their face was hidden beneath a dark hood, and all Emma could see was a faint outline of their jaw and the strange, calm way they breathed, as if the chaos around them meant nothing. Another scream burst through the forest, closer, clearer. This one she recognized. Tyler! Emma gasped. Her heart slammed against her ribs so hard it hurt. Tyler wasn't supposed to be anywhere near here. He should have still been at basketball practice. Was he looking for her? Did he follow her? The figure in the hood tilted their head slightly, as if listening to the scream with curiosity. Then their hand reached inside their coat again, and Emma felt her stomach twist. The man on the ground grabbed Emma's sleeve weakly. "Don't let them see fear," he whispered. "It makes them faster." Emma didn't understand what that meant, but there was no time to ask. She backed up slowly, glancing between the hooded figure, the injured man, and the direction Tyler's scream had come from. The hooded figure suddenly stepped forward with purpose. Emma grabbed the man under his arm. "I'm not leaving you." He shook his head. "You have to. They're not here for me anymore." Another scream tore through the trees, this one unmistakably Tyler's voice yelling her name. The hooded figure turned toward the sound and started walking in that direction. Emma's heart nearly stopped. "No," she whispered. "No, no, no, Tyler." She didn't even realize she'd taken off running until branches whipped against her coat. Snow crunched under her boots as she dashed toward the sound, calling his name, her breath a shaky cloud around her. "Hang on. I'm coming." Behind her, she heard the injured man groan in pain. She didn't want to leave him, but if Tyler was in danger, she couldn't let anything happen to him. Not Tyler. Not her best friend since second grade. Not the boy who always checked if she had eaten lunch and made her laugh on her worst days. The woods grew darker as she pushed deeper in. The pine trees towered like silent guards watching her run. Fear raced through her, but so did something else, determination. Her chest ached, her legs burned, but she didn't stop. A low voice drifted through the air. It wasn't Tyler. It was deeper, colder. Emma crouched behind a fallen log, her breath shaking. She peeked over it. Two figures stood in a small clearing. One was the hooded person she'd seen earlier. The other, she recognized immediately. Tyler. He was backed up against a tree, his hands trembling. What do you want?" Tyler stammered. Emma could hear the panic in his voice. The hooded figure didn't reply. They just stepped closer, silent and terrifyingly calm. Tyler picked up a stick, the only thing near him, and held it up like it was a sword. "I'm warning you," he yelled, trying to sound brave even though his voice cracked. The hooded figure raised a hand. Emma didn't wait. She jumped from behind the log before she could even think about what she was doing. "Stop!" Her voice cut through the clearing like lightning. The hooded figure paused, hand still raised. Tyler's eyes widened when he saw her. "Emma, what are you doing here?" "You followed me," she shouted back. "Well, yeah. You ran into the creepy forest alone. This isn't the time to argue." The hooded figure slowly lowered their hand, then pointed at Emma. It was a small movement, but it sent a cold wave through her body. "Why are you doing this?" she demanded. "What do you want from us?" The hooded figure didn't speak. They simply took a step toward her. Then another. Emma grabbed Tyler's wrist. "Run." He didn't argue. They sprinted through the trees, snow spraying behind them. Branches slapped their faces, their breaths coming in sharp gasps. Emma didn't know where she was going. She just knew she had to get away. But the hooded figure wasn't far behind. Every few seconds, Emma heard heavy footsteps closing in. Whoever they were, they moved fast. Too fast. Tyler glanced over his shoulder. "They are gaining on us." "Don't look back." Emma shouted. "Just run." They dodged around a thick cluster of trees and stumbled into another clearing. Emma nearly slipped on a patch of ice, but Tyler caught her arm. They both kept running, weaving between trees as fast as their legs would carry them. Behind them, the footsteps grew louder, stronger, closer. Emma's lungs felt like fire. Her legs felt like weights. But she pushed herself harder. She had to protect Tyler. She had to survive. Then she saw it. An old wooden bridge stretched over a narrow river. The water below rushed hard and fast. "Over there." Emma pointed. They raced onto the bridge, their boots thudding on the old planks. Halfway across, a loud crack split the air. Tyler froze. "Did you hear that?" Emma turned just in time to see a plank snap beneath his foot. "Tyler!" she screamed. He fell to his knees as a wood splintered more. Emma lunged forward and grabbed his jacket just as the board beneath him gave way completely. His legs dangled above the freezing river. "Hold on!" she yelled. He gripped her wrist tightly, eyes wide with fear. The hooded figure stepped onto the bridge behind them. Emma's heart pounded so loudly she could barely hear the rushing water. The figure moved slowly, carefully, like they knew the wood was weak, like they were used to chasing people across dangerous places. Tyler's grip began to slip. "Emma, please, don't let go." "I won't," she said fiercely, tightening her hold. "I promise." The figure took another step. The bridge groaned. Emma looked left, right, anywhere for help, but there was nothing but trees, snow, and darkness. She had to think fast. "Tyler," she whispered urgently, "when I pull you up, run. Don't stop. Don't look back. I'm not leaving without." "Yes, you are," she snapped. "We can't both be stuck here." His face twisted in fear and confusion. "Trust me," she said softly. "Please." He hesitated, then nodded. Emma dug her heels into the wood and used every ounce of strength she had left. She pulled. Tyler pushed upward. Slowly, slowly, almost there. One more heave. Tyler rolled onto the bridge beside her, coughing and shaking. "Go!" she shouted. He scrambled to his feet. The hooded figure took another step toward them, and the bridge let out a loud, cracking scream. Emma didn't wait. She ran again with Tyler, pushing off the bridge just as a section behind them buckled under the figure's weight. The hooded strangers stumbled but didn't fall, their balance terrifyingly steady. Emma and Tyler darted back into the trees, breathless. "Who are they?" Tyler cried. "I don't know." "Why are they chasing us?" "I don't know that either." But as they ran, Emma knew one thing. This wasn't normal. This wasn't random. This wasn't an accident. Whoever that person was, they had a reason, and Emma feared she knew what it was connected to. The motor in the cabin, the message on the wall, the nightmares she kept having. Someone wanted her in those woods today, and they weren't going to stop until they got what they came for. Finally, when their legs felt like rubber, they slowed down. They reached a small hollow between huge pine roots and ducked inside, hiding in the shadows. Their breaths were sharp and loud. Tyler clutched his chest. I thought I was dead." Emma placed a shaking hand on his shoulder. "Not while I'm here." He stared at her. Why would someone want to hurt us? Emma swallowed hard. "I don't know, but we have to stay together, and we have to stay quiet." They crouched there, listening. At first, there was nothing. Then, crunch, a heavy step on snow. The figure was near. Emma grabbed Tyler's hand, and they held their breath. The footsteps moved across the forest floor, slow and dragging, as if the figure was searching carefully, listening to even the tiniest sound. Emma closed her eyes. "Please don't find us. Please don't hear us. Please." The footsteps stopped, right outside their hiding place. Tyler squeezed Emma's hand so hard it hurt. The hooded figure stood still, listening, breathing. Emma's heart felt like it would explode. Seconds stretched into what felt like hours. Then, after a long moment, the footsteps slowly faded away. Tyler finally let out a shaky breath. "We need to get out of here." "We will," Emma whispered. "But we can't go back home right now. They might follow us." "So where do we go?" Emma thought for a moment. "The cabin," she said quietly. "The one where the police were earlier. Something happened there. Something important. I think it's where everything started." Tyler stared at her like she was crazy. "You want to go to the murder cabin?" "No way." "We don't have a choice," Emma said. "If we don't figure out why they're after us, they're going to keep hunting us." Tyler looked down, shaking. "This is insane." Emma squeezed his hand. "We have to trust each other. It's the only way." He nodded weakly. "Okay, but promise me, no more running across breaking bridges." She gave a small, tired laugh. "No promises." They climbed out from the hollow and began walking deeper into the forest. The snow was thicker here. The trees were darker, and the air felt heavier. Emma kept glancing over her shoulder. The woods felt alive, watching, waiting. As they moved, Tyler whispered, "Do you think the injured guy is okay?" Emma's chest tightened. "I hope so." They walked quietly for a while. The forest seemed endless, but Emma kept thinking about kindness, something her teacher always spoke about. "Emma," Tyler said softly, "why'd you risk yourself for that man? You didn't even know him." She took a long breath, her voice trembling but honest. "Because sometimes people don't have anyone willing to help them. And maybe if I help others when they need it, someone will help me when I need it too." Tyler looked at her with a softness she hadn't seen before. "That's why you're the bravest person I know." Her cheeks warmed, even in the cold. But the warmth didn't last long. As they approached a cluster of trees shaped like a crooked arch, Emma spotted something in the snow. A trail. Footprints. Big ones. Fresh ones. The hooded figure's footprints, leading directly toward the cabin. Her stomach sank. "They are headed the same way," she whispered. Tyler shook his head. "Emma, maybe we shouldn't." But before he could finish, a deep rumbling sound rolled through the forest. It wasn't thunder. It wasn't wind. It was something else. Something coming toward them. The ground beneath them trembled slightly. Emma grabbed Tyler's arm, eyes wide. And then, through the trees they saw it. A second hooded figure, running straight at them, faster than any human should move. Its footsteps thundered, shaking snow from the branches above. Tyler screamed, "Emma, run!" But it was already too late. The figure lunged through the trees, and the world exploded into motion. The second hooded figure burst through the trees like a storm, snow flying everywhere as it ran straight toward Emma and Tyler. Its boots slammed against the frozen ground so hard the earth seemed to shake with every step. Emma didn't think. She grabbed Tyler's wrist and pulled. "Run!" They sprinted through the forest, their legs burning, the cold air slicing their lungs. Behind them, the figure crashed through branches and fallen logs like they were nothing. Tyler yelled over the pounding in his chest. "Why are there TWO of them?" "I don't know." Emma shouted back. "Just keep running." The second figure was close. Too close. Emma could hear its breath, fast, sharp, animal-like. She could hear the snow crunching beneath its feet faster than haze. The forest felt smaller with every step. Trees that once seemed peaceful now felt like bars of a cage. Emma's mind raced. "We can't outrun it. We need a plan." She scanned the trees as they ran. Thick trunks, sharp branches, deep patches of snow, anything they could use. Then she saw it, a fallen tree, huge and hollowed on one side, lying across a ditch. "Tyler, this way." They jumped into the ditch and slid under the fallen tree, pressing themselves flat against the inside of the hollow trunk. Their breaths puffed out in shaky clouds. Tyler whispered, "Do you think it saw us?" Emma held up a finger. "Listen." Branches snapped. Heavy footsteps crashed down the hill behind them. The figure was close. Very close. Emma covered Tyler's mouth gently as the sound approached. She could feel his heartbeat racing against her hand. Her own heartbeat felt just as wild. Snow crunched. Twigs snapped. Branches rustled. The figure stopped directly above them. Emma squeezed her eyes shut. "Don't breathe too loud. Don't move. Please don't look down." Seconds passed. Long, painful seconds. Then the figure let out a low, frustrated growl. It stumped away, heading deeper into the woods. Emma didn't move. Not yet. Only when the footsteps faded into the distance did she pull her hand away from Tyler's mouth. He let out a long breath. "That was terrifying." "Sure," Emma whispered. "It could still be close."